Okay, we're going to be about 9 to 10 miles out. We want our power back at 800 pounds of torque. That's up here. That's this reading here at 800. Should be able to fly all day with that power setting at in level flight. What that'll also do is bring our speed back down into flap range, so we can set the flaps when we need to. Next thing we want to do is kind of keep it at 2,600 feet. Remember, you know, if you're off a couple hundred feet, you don't have to worry about it a whole lot. We can adjust slowly, but that 2,500 feet above ground is where we're at now with the correct altimeter setting. And we're staying there in level flight. So small adjustments on the yoke. We'll get lined up with the runway, which we are now. It's maybe a little difficult to see yet at 7 miles out. But we'll get to the runway, and we'll keep a good runway sight picture in mind. Not too steep, not too shallow. Remember, when we get into around the 5 mile mark, we'll want to put 2 notches of flaps in, and we can probably start pulling the power back to 500 pounds of torque, allowing the nose to drop and maintain a nice sight picture all the way to the runway. Right now, again, we're at 2,600 feet. Easy to fly it like that with no flaps. We're at 115 to 120 knots, well within our flap range for the 2 notches of flaps that we're going to want to stick on. So right now I'm at 5 miles, so I am going to go and put 2 notches of flaps in. That's going to slow us down. It's going to also automatically adjust our trim, so you're going to have to hold on to the yoke, keep it level, and readjust your trim, which is this big wheel here, and continue to head down at a nice slow angle to the runway. And when you're feeling comfortable with that angle and you're getting in there, now we're at 4 miles. Time to pull back the power to 500 pounds. And if you're at 550 to 600, you're going to be fine. These are just kind of ballpark figures to shoot for. Throttle's pretty touchy, but if you can get into that 500 range to 560, 570, we're going to look good. So we're at 100 knots, starting to descend. 2 notches of flaps. I'm going to leave my prop alone because you won't need to do it for the pinch hitter. And we'll continue to get a nice angle down to the runway. We want a nice angle down to that runway and to the first part of the runway. There's numbers on the runway. We want to aim to the runway numbers. What we want to have is a lull. Once we touch down with the wheels, we want to have a full length of runway to travel down. So it's important to point the nose at the first part of the runway. When we get to the runway, we're going to want to pull the power all the way back to the stop. So right now it's nice. If we wanted to, we could put the 3rd notch in. Really don't have to. We got a nice angle, not too steep, not too shallow. You want to get your hand onto the throttle at this point. 1 on the yoke, 1 on the throttle. Point it to the numbers. And at this point, we're looking real good for the height. We're going to be landing on 3-4. We should be able to see those numbers showing up. We're going to have a lot of runway once we touch down. Right now, we know we can make it. We're over the runway. I'm going to pull the power all the way back to the idle stop. You're going to have to probably grab onto the yoke with 2 hands and slowly flare at the bottom And then with your pedals, keep them neutral. You're steering, throttle's all the way back. Push down on the with your ball of your feet on the top of the pedals and brake the aircraft to a stop. And that gets you on the runway and a nice safe landing. Next difficult part, especially in the Kodiak, is the turn. Keep your feet on those pedals. Balls of your feet on top of the pedals and push left pedal to go left. And like everything else, it's a feel, so it's not going to be perfect on these turns, but they don't have to be. Got to remember, Joel, to slow it down with the top of the pedals. Push on the top, it's the brake. We're in the right, pushing the right pedal, going right, now a little bit left to come back to the left for us. At this point, you could just stop and off the runway and perfect.